Hello YouTube, it's Trevor again from WN Movie Talk. I'm back again today for another look at my DVD collection. Today we're going to discuss how I organise my DVD collection. Is it a good way to organise it? How do you organise yours as well? I'd like to hear in the comments below. Also, this is an update on my collection, so I will go through all the new titles that I've picked up this month. Also announcing the winner for last month's DVD giveaway, and we will set up another one. So I'm going to keep doing this. Every time we come back to these DVDs, I will then give you the chance to win a DVD. So I have 4 shelves of DVDs in my front room. I have been collecting them for years and years. I can't remember what my first DVD was. I think it was probably Jaws. And yes, it was Jaws. I've got this one, the 2-disc special edition, which I don't like the artwork. Do you? That is not Jaws to me. What have they done to that? But I've more recently bought Jaws on Blu-ray. But again, the bonus features aren't as good on this as they are on this. So I'm going to hang on to this one anyway. Frustrating. But yeah, I've really got into DVD collecting. Probably about 12 years ago, I got rid of half of my DVDs. And I kicked myself forevermore. Each time I'd go, oh, we got this film, and I'd go to look for it, can't find it. It's so frustrating. So yeah, then I started to collect again. So I've collected them, and I've gone through several different methods of how to sort them out. Alphabetical, of course, because it's easy to find them. I used to do so many different genres. I'd have like crime films, anything to do with gangsters, and then I'd have action movies, dramas, comedy dramas. I also used to have them all separated into films by directors, so this would be like the Scorsese shelf, and then this would be the Spielberg shelf, the Wes Anderson shelf, the Coen brothers. But now that's all changed. Everything has changed since we moved house, and I set them up again over here, and I thought I'm not going to bother sorting all that out. So how have I sorted out my DVDs? First of all, we come over to this section here on its own, over here. Now, if you saw my last video, you see I've got my Bond set here. It's only because they won't fit on those shelves. So I've put them up here. So Bond from here to here. I've got Full Metal Jacket up here as well, because that won't fit on my war section over there. And then it's all TV programmes, really. So it starts here with a TV programme, Sharp, then it's my Bond, and then it goes back into TV programmes. Game of Thrones, Hornblower, Roots, The Sopranos, Twin Peaks. And it goes sort of through dramas, and then it gets into sort of comedies. Bang Bang, Reeves and Mortimer, Blackadder, Catterick, comic strip, Father Ted, King of the Hill, Only Fools and Horses, Red Dwarf, and then down here it's like movies, documentaries and stuff. I mentioned that last month anyway, but how do I sort the bulk of my films? This is the question. So basically I haven't gone for too many sort of genre areas anymore. Basically I've kept sci-fi, horror, war movies, comedies, and then what I sort of call your fantasy, which we'll get into a bit later on. So everything else is all in one section. Basically it goes alphabetical from here. These could be anything. There's Die Hards in here, a lot of the gangster films, all the Wes Andersons. I mean, it really does heap a lot together, you know. For example, I've got Meet Joe Black. There goes like Mary and Max. It just anything goes in there. So there's old films like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, Alfred Hitchcock's Rebecca. See, then there'll be like your Lethal Weapon films will turn up in there, and your Die Hards, but then there'll also be the sort of the quirky films like Juno, The Personal History of David Copperfield, Lawrence of Arabia, Fistful of Dollar trilogy. So yeah, a bit of everything in this main section. This is where I'm not bothered with genre. When I get down here, oh, get down. It's over here is where we start the genres. So we've got up to Z over here, ending in Zodiac. And now we get down to genre. Now, this is sci-fi, okay? And it starts here with The Abyss. And then we go along, you've got your dystopian Children of Men sort of thing. District 9, First Man. See, this is a funny one. First Man and Apollo 13, are they sci-fi or are they historical? Because they both tell true stories, so it's not actually science fiction, science fact, but because these are more science-y, I've got the Mad Max trilogy in there. The Matrix, Revolution, Moon, Pacific Rim. Whereas Pacific Rim, possibly I should keep over here. This is where it gets confusing, because as we come over to this shelf, over the other side of the room, we've got sort of our, like I was saying, our fantasy films. And they start here with the Addams Family Values, and then I've got the Batman films, superhero films you'll find in here. Things like Clash of the Titans, Cocoon. So, I mean, this is where it falls weird. Is Cocoon a sci-fi or fantasy? It's a bit fantastic, isn't it? When I say fantasy, I don't mean just like your Lord of the Rings and whatever. It's anything with a fantastic sort of element to it. So I think Pacific Rim should probably be over here. It's a real confusion, isn't it? And I get like this when I'm sorting these out. It was just frustrating. So I mean, obviously, yeah, Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit films is going to be in your fantasy, and your Spider-Mans and things like that. But then I've got like Time Bandits, the Tron films. So it gets vague. It gets really vague. Anyway, yeah, so we got all that sort of thing over here. Your Harry Potters, your Ghostbusters, you know, Flash Gordon. It's a bit more straightforward when it comes to the likes of horror and obviously war. I went through my war collection last week. I showed you that was the one I moved. So then, yeah, we got our sci-fi, which, I mean, you know, Star Wars is still fantasy, isn't it? But it's over here. So yeah, I'm still not 100% happy with this order. So I'd love to hear your suggestions. How do you sort your DVDs, you know? But then, yeah, it gets a bit more straightforward when we come over to the horror section. So the horror is on the bottom shelf, because I like them to be handy for the children to grab if they'd ever want to watch one. So it starts over here, goes along to there, and then we're down here. So it's not the biggest horror section. Maybe that'll be an interesting video, would be to go through the horrors, and then you can sort of get an idea of where I am with sort of my own tastes in films. And then over here, comedy. Starting here, Adventureland, Bad Teacher, you know, and then obvious comedies like your Austin Powers. I've got Blues Brothers over here. Carry On films. I've got all the Carry On films and the Charlie Chaplin films from a free box that someone was giving away on Facebook one day. It was actually 2 massive cardboard boxes full of DVDs, and they've made up a bulk of my collection over here. That's finding things like that. That's what adds so many titles to the films that I own that I haven't watched yet. Spinal Tap, Team America, you know what a comedy is. The Police Academy collection, The League of Gentlemen Apocalypse, The Jerk, Kingpin, which I actually prefer over Dumb and Dumber. So that's basically how I do my genre selecting. So I know you're probably thinking, no, that doesn't make sense, but there's, like I say, trying to sort out sci-fi. There's so many blurred lines. You know, should it be in the sci-fi or the fantasy? And as you can tell, it still needs looking at. I've still got some work to do. Anyway, should we have a look at the DVDs I've picked up this month, and then we'll go and do the prize draw? Yeah? So I'm here with a big stack of DVDs that I've purchased this month, in no particular order. First of all, I picked up Mindhorn, Julian Barrett. Washed up Richard Thorncroft peaked in the 1980s detective show Mindhorn, playing the titular Isle of Man sleuth with a robotic eye that allowed him to literally see the truth. Decades later, when a deranged criminal demands Mindhorn as his nemesis, Thornton returns to the scene. It's the Three Amigos, isn't it, basically? Similar sort of thing, but we'll see how it is. The Conjuring 2, now I picked this up because it's the Enfield case. Now I like poltergeists and supernatural things and stuff like that. I listen to some interesting podcasts, Uncanny, if you've never heard that. I'm aware of the Enfield poltergeist. I wanted to see basically how the Conjuring series would deal with this. I'm not really a big fan of these stupid ghosty jump scary films. I love real ghost stories, which is why this interests me, but they're gonna make it shit, aren't they? The Amityville Murders, based on true events. Ronald Defoe took a high-powered rifle and murdered his entire family as they slept. He claimed that voices in the house commanded him to kill. Based on the murders. This isn't the ghost story after. I've seen the Amityville Horror. The young and prestigious T.S. Spivet, from the director Jean-Pierre Junot, who directed Emile. I think he directed Alien Resurrection as well. T.S. Spivet lives on a remote ranch in Montana with his parents, his sister Gracie and his brother Leighton. A gifted child with a passion for science, he has invented a perpetual motion machine for which he has been awarded the prestigious Baird Prize. But no one there suspects that the lucky winner is a 10-year-old child with a very dark secret. So I like this. It's quirky again. That sort of quirky film that I enjoy, as I mentioned last time. City of God. I don't know a lot about this film, other than it always gets cited as a classic, and I've never seen it. So when I saw it in the charity shop, I thought I had to get it. Clint Eastwood, The Mule. I like a Clint Eastwood film. He stars as an old bloke who takes a driving job, and it turns out that he's transporting drugs over the border, by the sounds of it. Based on a true story. From the producers of Gascoigne and The Governor, Fred, the godfather of British crime. Now I do like a British crime film. Heavyweight villain with an unbelievably bloody past, Freddy is the last living legend of the crazed London underworld. A ruthless criminal still feared and revered to this day. Freddy now lives in a retirement home with only the memories of his former crimes to look back on. Papillon. Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman, the greatest escape adventure ever filmed. Imprisoned on infamous Devil's Island, Papillon, Steve McQueen is obsessed with the idea of freedom. Another classic that I haven't seen. I know there's a remake that is meant to have missed the mark. Don't they always? Apollo 13. Now this is a film that I did own and I lent to someone, which poses another question to all you DVD collectors out there. Do you lend your DVDs? Because I've stopped. It drives me nuts. People don't return them. They think, oh, he's got hundreds. He won't miss this one. And I fucking do. I just noticed this morning I was looking through my DVDs. I wanted to watch Black Mass, and that's missing. The Johnny Depp gangster film. Yeah, not there. Anyway, Apollo 13, we all know this. Ron Howard film, Tom Hanks, Ed Harris. Great film, another true story. Midway. Now this is a Roland Emmerich film. I like a war film, but when they get gung-ho and sort of Americans and you know, that sort of dramatised, romanticised sort of bullshit, like your Mel Gibson films like We Were Soldiers and Hacksaw Ridge, how they can take a true story and just make it ridiculous. I've got a feeling this is going to be like this, Roland Emmerich, you know, when he makes films like Independence Day. So a bit dubious about this one. Maybe you've seen it, you might disagree. Another film I picked up was Redacted, Brian De Palma film, another war film. Truth is the first casualty of war. I bought it back. Realised I already had it on DVD, so that's ended up in the selection for you guys to choose from. Another war film, Joyeux Noël. And this is all about the football match that the Germans and the English played on Christmas Eve. During a ceasefire, the two sides go out into no man's land, kick a ball about. Dunkirk, the original version. John Mills, Richard Attenborough, Bernard Lee. Ealing film. Now I do love the old Ealing films. I like an old war film as well. The old British war films tend to be sort of among my favourites. Be interesting to see that one. And then the last of the war films is called Ride with the Devil, an Ang Lee film. Only once in its history has the US been at war with itself. In 1861 the Southern Confederacy is formed and the American Civil War ignites. Oh look, it's the first of my Blu-rays that I've picked up. Warcraft, The Beginning. Sometimes I enjoy this sort of film and sometimes I don't. Last month I watched Dungeons and Dragons. I thought that was quite good. But you know, this was a quid, so it didn't hurt to pick it up. Ridley Scott's Exodus, Gods and Kings. All about Moses, isn't it? Classic Robert Zemeckis, Death Becomes Her. Went to the cinema to watch this one. Bruce Willis in a good comedy role. Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn. There's two women who sort of take a potion, don't they, to keep them young. It gets a bit grim, a bit fun. Not seen it for a long time. Now, recently I edited an old episode of our podcast on Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko is just a film that absolutely blew me away. Then he brought out Southland Tales. I have seen this. When it first came out, I was really looking forward to it. And I remember thinking, what a fucking mess of a film. But it will be interesting to revisit. Oz, the Great and the Powerful, a prequel to The Wizard of Oz, starring James Franco. I don't mind it. It's a bit of fun. DC's Suicide Squad, Jared Leto playing the Joker, but I think most people went to watch this for Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, didn't they? That's the sort of world we live in. But I've not been interested to watch this, but my son, he really enjoys all the Marvel and the DC, and he's got the DC Supervillains game, and I thought, saw this, 25p, why not? Two Blu-rays, Sherlock Holmes and Sherlock Holmes. Never actually seen them. I hear they're quite good fun. Robert Downey Jr. as Sherlock Holmes and Jude Law as Dr. Watson. And then my two favourite films of the month. First one, this is a 3D Blu-ray. Didn't realise. I've still got a 3D TV. I haven't got a 3D Blu-ray player at the moment, so I need to sort that out. Snoopy and the Charlie Brown in the Peanuts movie. I was an absolute massive fan of Peanuts as a child. As I grew older, it was one of those cartoons that you sort of grow with and appreciate it more. It's not, you look back and it's just a load of old silly kids stuff. It's actually really satirical, and it's a cartoon that I always enjoyed. When the film came out, I took my son to watch it, and I absolutely loved it. It felt just like the original Snoopy. They haven't had to sort of invent some far-fetched sort of adventure plot like you do with your Alvin and the Chipmunks and your Smurfs and things. We have to save the day. This is just Charlie Brown. It's like a series of episodes all in one film. It's just great. It looks brilliant. It's nice to see them in a sort of a 3D animation. And then there's loads of special features on there as well. So yeah, looking forward to watching that. And then my DVD, my pick of the month, is William Friedkin's The Sorcerer. Now, I had to pay for this one. I think this was about £8, but it's a film that I've wanted to watch for a long time. I've got Wages of Fear over there, which is the original foreign film that it was based on. Yeah, there's a great documentary all about Friedkin at the moment over on Freevee or Amazon Prime or somewhere like that, where he just talks about his career, and he mentioned this and I was like, right, I need to get it, so I've got it. So there you go, that's my DVDs. I've just put them in here, and then we'll run through the giveaway. Okay, so the winner of last month's DVD giveaway, I'll announce now, and then we'll have a run through the DVDs that we got available for this month. Excuse the pale light in it. So I've got my random comment picker. I've put in the URL, and I've also narrowed it down by putting in the words. I want that DVD, so then we know who's entered the competition. It doesn't just pick any old thing. Clever, aren't I? So anyway, we go pick a winner. Here we go. It shuffles, and it says Amber Javardi. Amber Javardi. Can you see that? Sicario you've asked for. If you email me, wnmovietalk@gmail.com, yeah, you can have Sicario and 2 other DVDs as discussed. Well done, Amber. Now it's your chance to win your own DVD. So let's have a look and see which titles I'm giving away in this video. The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. Batman. Batman Returns. Batman Forever. The Dark Knight Rises. Birdman Blu-ray. Body of Lies. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The Counterfeiters. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. War of the Planet of the Apes. Days of Glory. Deadpool Blu-ray. Everest. I Am Legend. Inglourious Bastards Blu-ray. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Mask. Monsters Ball. My Boy Jack. Rain Man. Redacted. Red Sparrow. Robin Hood. Director's Cut. Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows. Seraphim Falls. Source Code. Sully, Miracle on the Hudson. Superman 2. Superman Returns. 12 Years a Slave. Warhorse. The Way Back. So if you want the chance to win one of these lovely DVDs, then all you've got to do is these 3 things. First, give this video a like and subscribe to the channel, common courtesy. And then thirdly, leave a comment below saying I want that DVD, and then the title of whichever DVD it is that you want to win. Simple. I will draw a winner next month. Thanks ever so much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you all again soon. Cheers.